All right, so we lapped in with some new wrestling news, man. I want to give y'all some content for the day, and I want to talk about Bron Breaker. Now, this guy right here, he was the blue chipper. He was the guy that they had next up. In the way they had groomed him up, he was going to be the guy. He was going to be the next guy to be main eventing Mania and all this stuff. And he had the background, the Steiner brother background. So they was going to put their eggs on him. But in the meanwhile, they devalue his stock. What do you mean by that? How did that happen? First of all, you put him in a faction with the Vision. This Vision thing is not working. This thing is not working at all. They trying to keep it going. And even when Maxine Dupree joined, it made Bron Breaker look like a goof. He looked like a goof. He been taking too many losses. And if they was going to do something, the only way they should have saved the Vision is you should have him lead the Vision. He has the mannerisms of Scott Steiner. He should have been tapping into that. He should have won the title from CM Punk in January if we were going to talk about it, because they just made the splash of him turning on Seth Rollins. He should have beat CM Punk in January. I mean, Bron Breaker has the move set. The crowd gets behind him when they do the barking. So, and you need to make new stars, and this guy would have been perfect. But instead, they played it safe. Another thing that happened to him, and it happened to Dragunov, you put him beside Brock Lesnar. You can't put nobody beside Brock Lesnar, even if it's for that War Game stuff. You don't put nobody on your new talent aside from Brock Lesnar, unless he's trying to square up with Brock. That kind of made him look small time. And then with Dragunov, he was doomed. When Brock Lesnar manhandled him, and when Dragunov was doing his chops and Brock just threw him out the ring like yesterday's garbage, he was done. Little things like that matter. You put him on a cowboy hat. And then what else happened? He enters the Royal Rumble, get dumped out like a bum. They done devalued this man's stock. And it's a shame because remember the face-off they had. They had the face-off they had with him and Fatu. They teased that. There's so much potential that was there with Bron Breaker, man, but they didn't know how to handle him. So now he's stuck with this Vision thing, being the middle guy, where he shouldn't even be in that role. He still had potential, but at the same time, with him getting hurt and stuff, that's going to lead people to believe that we're not going to put the rocket ship behind him yet. I don't know. He could be injury prone. So ever since he came back, he ain't really been making too much of a splash. He been taking L's. And even though they want to sit there and say, well, wins and losses don't matter. Yeah, they do. Wins and losses don't matter as long as you're on TV. You see the excuses that they make for bad booking? Who would make money to see? Who would want to invest their money to see a loser? Based off your win ratio is how you book. Based off your win ratio is how you make money. That's always been the test of time. Where's this new mentality they have? Well, as long as you're on television, you're losing. So in other words, Barry Horowitz was winning, right? In other words, Bastion Booger was winning, right? In other words, the Brooklyn Brawler we could consider a winner, right? No. It's the new mentality that these guys also fall victim to. And that's the problem. But luckily for Bron Breaker, he's still young. If he could stay healthy and they can book him better, he needs to go to SmackDown. He needs to go to SmackDown, if anything. So let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, hit the like button, holla.